Hey guys, it's Cayley. I'm back with another What Sold from Last Week video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about all of the current sales on eBay and Poshmark that I have had over the last week. Before we dive into today's video, I do have a very special announcement for you. Wasn't really sure where to place this, so I figured I would just do it here. As you guys know, myself and a group of other resellers started the Reseller's Edge mentorship group. This is a place where any reseller can come no matter what stage of reselling you're at, whether it's a side hustle or you want to take this to an enterprise level. You can learn and you can grow with other resellers. We do live calls 3 times weekly. We have some course modules. We have a Facebook group. We're trying to put the most value into this group. With that in mind, I am so super excited to announce that we have recently partnered with List Perfectly. Now with your Reseller's Edge membership, you will also get your first month of List Perfectly free. Crazy insane value here. I love List Perfectly. I've been using them for years. They have substantially grown my business, and I couldn't think of a more perfect partner for Reseller's Edge. So if you guys haven't already and you are interested in checking out Reseller's Edge, if you sign up today, you will also get immediate access to a code that will give you your first month of List Perfectly for free. So you can try out both Reseller's Edge and List Perfectly. I'd love to see you guys over there and help you grow your sales. Back into today's sales. Sales have been pretty good, honestly pretty steady. I'm trying a couple of new things, specifically on eBay. I'm doing a few things on Poshmark too, but eBay specifically, I'm testing out a few of their features and seeing how they impact my sales. And things have honestly been going really well. I'll probably do a video soon on one of the features that I've recently tried because it has blown up my sales. So I'll keep you guys up to date on that. I think you'll see the results of those sales in the next What Sold video. Let's get into these bolos. All right, you guys, so the sales we're going to be going over happened between April 28th through May 4th. In total, I sold 223 items. Gross item sales were just over $7,000, making my average sale price pretty low at around $32. So definitely not as high as I would like it to be. However, very happy with just keeping up with steady sales as we move into warmer weather, because as we know, every year summer slowdown happens, and I do everything I can to combat that, to maintain healthy sales. And even if it means a lower average sale price, maintaining sales is the most important thing to me. But we are going to work on getting this number back up gradually. On eBay, I sold 114 items. On Poshmark, I sold 109. My average item sale price on eBay was just about $36, so very happy with that. But on Poshmark, it was $27, so dragging that sale price down a little bit. But overall, pretty happy with how things turned out. Let's dive into these sales. I got a lot to show you, a lot of new bolos to me as well. One thing I wanted to talk about was, if you guys find pretty much any kind of company that is known for like merino wool or wool pieces, I'm not talking like a chunky, scratchy sweater, but like clothing pieces that look like they aren't made of wool. Like this one is like a dress shirt, but they are made of wool. I'm talking base layers, shirts like this, t-shirts made of wool, but do not look like they are made of wool is the best way I can describe it. I have been selling these all year round, and even though we are in warmer weather, people are still buying them. Most brands that you find like this are highly sought after. So if you come across something that looks like, everyday clothing, but it says it's made out of wool, I would definitely recommend at least doing a comp on it and seeing. More often than not, it's going to be a bolo brand for you. And you're going to see a lot of those brands in today's video, again, despite the warmer weather. So this first one is a brand I would definitely recommend remembering. It's called Unbound Merino. This is my first time selling anything but their they make some like plain t-shirts. Those go for about $40. This is a button up, which went for a lot more. I listed this at $100 and it sold very quickly, just about a week, for an offer to watcher of $85, which is insane. All right, next up, a newer brand to me that has been performing well. It's called Oska, O-S-K-A, really decent sell-through rate on this one. And these also have that new style of pant leg that we've been talking about in jeans and pants. This is like a almost like a barrel leg. This certain shape is one you definitely want to keep your eye out for. Very trendy right now. So this is the brand Oscar. These are a pair of, we call them balloon leg corduroy pants. We probably should have put barrel in the title, to be honest. We listed these for $85. They sold on an offer to watcher for $72. Next up, another newer brand to me. I think it's pronounced Q. Kuiu. These are a pair of utility canvas pants. Here's, kind of what their tags look like, but pretty subtle brand, I would say. These pants had that like double knee effect here, which is what this is. We called it a reinforced knee. It's another word for it. We listed this for $80 and it did sell for our full asking price, and it only took a couple of weeks to sell. Definitely want to keep your eye out for this brand. They make all kinds of stuff and they're kind of in that like outdoorsy utility category. Some more colder weather items that are still selling in warmer weather. Cashmere is still selling very well for me. I am being pretty picky with what I pick up as far as cashmere goes. We try obviously not to get anything with holes or pilling, but obviously sometimes you can't help it and sometimes it's still worth it to pick up things with holes. You're going to see that in a couple of my sales in this video. But what I try to stick to is making sure it is a higher end brand, a brand that retails for quite a bit. Brooks Brothers is one of those pieces. This also, and I think we missed it in the listing, but it had the golden fleece logo, which honestly might have increased the value a little bit. But I have people working for me that are still learning, and so it got listed for what it got listed for. I listed this for $70 in the store. This is just a V-neck purple sweater. It did have some minor pilling. It did sell for full asking price, and it sold within just 2 days of getting listed. So definitely want to keep your eye out for, again, cashmere, but make sure it is a brand that retails for a little bit, only because if you're getting like, I don't know, we all know that like cashmere charter club stuff can sell in fall and winter, but in spring and summer, the return on that is not very high. The sell-through rate's not high. But if you can get a brand that retails for a little bit in cashmere, it can still pull the sale through. All right, next up, I did have to sit on these for a little bit. These were listed at the end of October last year. However, they did end up selling for full asking price, so I am happy with the return on investment. This is the brand Hot Chocolate. I don't know much about this brand, but as you can tell, these are very, very artsy shoes. I want to say, and I could be wrong, but I want to say that this was a very special print on the shoes, so maybe not everything in the brand Hot Chocolate would do well, but this particular design performed well for us. We listed these at $60 and it did sell, like I said, for our full asking price, although it did take quite a while to sell. Next up, this is more of a factor stacking piece. This is the brand Banana Republic. Banana Republic is a very popular brand. A lot of people look for it, especially during spring and summer. However, on the pre-owned market on like eBay and Poshmark, there's just so much of it out there because it is a mall brand and people buy a lot of it. So the sell-through rate's not typically high in this brand. However, if you have the right factors, because it is so popular, I personally think it is a brand worth looking into for bread and butter stuff. Particularly the longer length dresses do very well for me during this time of the year. This is a Banana Republic halter maxi dress in a size extra large, and I found it new with tags. You can see it retails for $120. And I talk about like it factors a lot. Like when you're looking at a piece, does it look like something someone would wear today? Like, is it super trendy? For me, this piece had that it factor with the like watercolor print to it. Again, in addition, it was plus size and it was no tags, like all great things. I actually paid up for this because I felt so confident in the purchase. I paid $13. I will say this did take a long time to sell, almost a year, like 10 months. But it did provide a great return for me. I listed this for $65. It ended up selling on an offer to watcher for $55. Looking back, probably shouldn't have paid that much to hold my money hostage for a year, but I am happy with, again, the return on investment. But this is definitely something that I would look for. especially if you can get it at a lower price. Next up, one of my all-time performing brands, Lilly Pulitzer. We were lucky enough to get this new with tags. Plus, this is a special piece. I always recommend looking up or doing a Google lens on Lilly Pulitzer pieces. Either look up their style number on their tags or Google lens, because the style and size in this brand can really make a huge difference. This was the Braden pullover, and it was UPF, so like sun protection. And if you find UPF in anything right now, if a brand is known for that, probably going to be very, very trendy, especially as we move closer to summer. So right now, that's a good indicator to me of a good quality item for this time of the year. We listed this for $60, and it did sell for our full asking price. Next up, this is a brand that is a designer brand. It does not sell very quickly typically, but some other pieces perform very well. This is Tory Burch. You can see there's quite a bit of wear, honestly, to them, but very trendy, very unique, very out there, big bows on them. Little pair of pointed flats. We listed these for $55, and they did end up selling for our full asking price. Let's see here. These ones took about 3 months to sell. All right, next up, this is one of my favorite bread and butter brands. It is LL Bean, a very outdoorsy brand. LL Bean is super underrated. If you can learn the key pieces in LL Bean to pick up, maybe I should do a deep dive on that soon. If you can learn the key pieces to pick up in LL Bean, definitely the value is there. People really love this brand, but you got to know what to pick up. Women's plus size stuff definitely increases the value, I have learned, on these pieces, as well as outerwear, which this is both. This is called the Venture Stretch Anorak jacket. One thing I really like with LL Bean, and I'm going to be honest with you, we don't look up every single item ID on LL Bean, but if it's a key piece like this, I think sometimes it can be worth looking up. But their item ID is right here, and all you have to do is type LL Bean space this number into Google, and it's going to pull up the exact style for you, and it's super easy to look this stuff up. I listed this for $50, and it did sell for our full asking price, and it only took about 3 weeks to sell. Next up, this is an artsy brand. I've been talking a lot about artsy, log and look, kind of more mature brands. This is my core customer, one of my core customers, so very confident with the pieces we pick up in this aesthetic. This is a newer brand to me called Zuza Bart. Did not know anything about this brand before seeing it. You can tell it's very log and look, kind of artsy. This one we picked up, it was a linen blend, size 3X2, and kind of like an oversized asymmetrical look. We listed this for $50, and it did sell for our full asking price. This is definitely a brand I'm going to keep my eye out for. Next up, I have been really loving picking up like vintage Y2K pieces and learning a lot about that. Like I said, we just did a Y2K deep dive. So one of our live calls was a Y2K deep dive where I went into like every single category of what is selling in Y2K. We discussed what Y2K meant, key factors to look for, all that stuff, and this, the really big bolos you can look for, and looked at actual comps. This would be an example of something I would definitely look for. Brands that were popular back in the Y2K, the 2000s, that have big spell outs. Free tip for you. Keep your eye out for those. Can be a good indicator of a Y2K item you want to pick up. This one's True Religion, which was definitely a more popular brand back then. Big spell out on the back. We listed this for $40, and it did sell for our full asking price. Next up, this is one of my favorite swimsuit brands to pick up. If you guys look this up, it actually does not have a 100% sell-through rate on eBay, but if you include the size in it, the larger the size you get up, the sell-through rate increases. But I've just learned over time that this is a really great brand to pick up, and regardless of size, I usually pick it up. It usually sells for me. So Miracle Suit, this one we estimated to be a size 8. We listed it for $45 and it did sell for our full asking price. Next up, you're going to see a lot of Eileen Fisher. I've talked about it before. I like showing this brand because a lot of people consider it a bread and butter brand, which I think for a lot of things it can be, but if you know what to look for within the bread and butter brands, you can make them bolos. So plus size pieces in Eileen Fisher are definitely a bolo. High sell-through rates and can go for a lot of money, sometimes close to $100 depending on what you have. This one, excuse me, is an organic linen cardigan in a size 2X, nice blue color. We listed this for $40 and it did sell for full asking price. Losing my voice here. Here's another Y2K style pickup. These are Skechers Jammers. I've talked about it at length on YouTube about vintage Y2K Skechers shoes being a bolo. These particular ones are called Skechers Jammers, and they are very trendy. These actually go for a ton more than what we had them listed for. The only reason we priced them so low was because the size was like rubbed off and we could not tell the size. And I don't know about you guys, but clothing, we can estimate size. It might take a little bit longer to sell, but somebody usually goes off of measurements and they buy it. But with shoes, little bit of a different story because shoes are very hard to estimate sizing on, and people just you just lose trust with the buyer when they can't see the shoe size and they know that you're going off of measurements because they themselves have never measured their own shoes. So with that in mind, we price this significantly lower. We list this at $40 because we did not have the size and estimated just to get them to move. They did end up selling on an offer to watcher for $34, which as I mentioned is a lot lower than they probably could have gone, but I was worried that we were going to sit on them. Have you guys ever had that with shoes? Let me know. How are you still sitting on the item or were you able to sell it? I think it's, in my experience, been a very hard sale. All right, next up, this is one of my favorite bread and butter brands as well. It is Soft Surroundings. Again, similarly to Eileen Fisher, if you know the pockets of bolos within these bread and butter brands, you can really make some good money. In this case, longer length dresses in this brand perform very well for me. This is a Soft Surroundings embroidered maxi dress, and it was also a size large, and larger sizes in this brand also go up in value. I listed this for $40 and it did sell for our full asking price. Next up, this is a brand I pick up and pretty much everything I find anything really sells in it, even cotton pieces. This brand is known for their wools and alpacas, but even cotton pieces in this brand perform really well because it retails for so much and people just love their stuff. It is Peruvian Connection. This one appears to be a little bit of an older label, just a little wrap top. I think it was made out of Pima cotton. Yeah, so this one is cotton. We listed this for $45 and it sold on an offer to watcher for $38. This only took 4 days to sell. So very strong brand. Just make sure if you've got something wool or alpaca, you really do your comps because you're going to get a lot more money for it. Here's another cashmere piece. This is by the brand Peter Hahn. Not much to say, decent comps in Peter Hahn cashmere. This one I listed at $40. It did sell for our full asking price. Here is a newer brand to me and one you guys might want to look for. It is a Western wear brand known for their like snap shirts. They make men's and they make women's. The men's definitely go for more. It is Ryan Michael. This is a women's silk cotton Western snap shirt in a size large. I listed this for $40. It had a small spot on it, and it did sell for our full asking price. Very strong comps on this brand. Next up, some more Eileen Fisher. These are not plus sizes, but they are larger sizes and they are linen. If you guys find Eileen Fisher linen items, very, very trendy right now, even if they are in smaller sizes. Obviously need to be in good condition, but Eileen Fisher linen pieces performing extremely well right now. So this is an Eileen Fisher size extra large women's linen blend sweater in a size, I already said it, extra large, repeating myself. We listed it for $40. It sold on an offer to watcher for $34. Here's another Eileen Fisher linen sweater. This one's a size large. It is a little bit of a longer length. It is a short sleeve cardigan. Listed this for $40. There was a stain on the back. Normally I would price something like this with it being longer length, you know, a more substantial piece, a little bit higher. However, with that stain on the back, we went with $40, and it did sell for our full asking price. Next up, here are some more wool brands. This is the brand Wool X. Again, it looks like a normal V-neck t-shirt. It's made out of wool. Brands like this perform very well. This one had a small hole on the back, but the brand was so strong, we got it and just priced lower than everyone else at $40. And this sold, in addition to this one, in a bundle. This is Smart Wool. This also had a small hole and some staining on the cuffs, and we also dropped the price because of that, listed it for $40. So Smart Wool and Wool X, both of which had flaws, listed them each for $40, and they ended up selling for a bundle of $80. So full price, guys. Awesome sale on this, especially for flawed items, especially being in warmer weather. So keep your eye out for brands like this. Like I said, pretty much any brand like this, where it looks like regular clothing, but it's made out of wool, is desirable. Next up, here is another style-based pickup. This is kind of a Y2K piece, Nanette Lepore. This is 100% silk. This is we use the keyword fairy, very fairy aesthetic inspired, which is very trendy right now. We listed this for $40 pre-owned, and it sold on an offer to watcher for $34. And this one took about 3 weeks to sell, which is really great for a style-based pickup. Next up, we have a bread and butter brand that I like to get. It is the brand Alley Miles. This brand performs particularly well in larger sizes. So I do try to stick to the larger sizes. That's just my preference because I want to move items quickly. Very artsy, again, log and looky, tunic length usually type of brand. We estimated the size for this to be an extra large. We listed it for $40. It sold on an offer to watcher for $34, and it did take about a month and a half to sell. Here's another brand that performs well for me in plus sizes, Calvin Klein 3X women's like office wear top. Listed this for $35. Priced it a little bit higher than I normally do because it was like a thicker office top. And it sold on an offer to watcher for $30. And this one took a couple of months to sell, but like I said, great bread and butter in the Calvin Klein plus size tops. And if you have something a little bit more substantial like this piece was, you can list a little bit higher. This is a category that seems to be performing very well recently. It are these pleated mini skirts, especially anything like, well, I guess they're all kind of like academia inspired. We actually included that keyword in our title. But I was going to say like goth, academia, stuff like that. If it's got that vibe to it, which I think this one does, definitely worth looking at, especially if it's a pleated mini skirt. This is by the brand Sunday Best, which is sold at Aritzia. And these little Aritzia mini skirts like this are just performing so well. I listed this one at $35. It did sell for our full asking price. I shared this in, I don't know if it was the last video or the video before that, but Lululemon shorts, athletic wear women's shorts, performing very well. These are called the Speed Up shorts. They were listed for $35. They did sell for our full asking price. This is another kind of bread and butter category for me. Anything Free People or Anthropologie that is a size large or higher, I get. They always flip for at least $25 for me. This one is by Anthropologie, their house line. It is a Caroline ruffled baby doll top, and it was a size extra large. Not much to say about it. I listed it for $27. It sold for my full asking price, although it did take several months to sell. I did a deep dive on Chico's recently, and I told you guys we are not going to be picking up much Chico's just because the comps weren't there. It does not mean we would never pick up Chico's, and that's really true for any brand. If there's a piece where all the right factors are there, we are definitely going to get it. This one just kind of had that it factor like I was talking about. This is kind of like a butterfly mosaic print top. We listed this for $30. It did take several months to sell, and it ended up selling for an offer to watcher of $25. Another great brand to pick up in plus size tops is Michael Kors. This is a Michael Kors 3X new with tags gold top. Because of that, we listed it on the higher end of the range at $30, and it sold for our full asking price of $30. Also a brand I love getting in plus size, Talbot's. This is a Talbot size 2X American flag shirt. We listed it at $30, higher end of the comps, just because 4th of July is coming up, and I thought this would be very trendy, and I was right, because it did sell pretty quickly and for our full asking price of $30. And then here is another plus size brand that performs very well. It is Kokomo Woman. They do make stuff other than plus sizes, so you want to try to stick to the larger sizes in this brand, especially in this like style. Once you come across it, you'll know what I mean. They just make shirts like this. This one did not have its size tag, so we had to determine sizing based on measurements. We determined it to be a size 3X, and this one did sell for our full asking price of $30. See what I mean, guys? Like clothing, when you don't have the size tag, you can still make those sales, but shoes, such a hard sale. All right, moving on to the Poshmark sales. I did have some pretty decent full price, or not full price, but larger sales on Poshmark. Although a lot of those sales, as you guys saw from the average sale price, are more like me clearancing stuff out. This was one of the more larger sales. This is by the brand Armani Collezioni. This blazer came from that vintage warehouse like bulk deal I did a while back. I'm still selling a few of those off, but they've honestly performed very well. So I'm going to keep my eye out for Armani pieces, especially if they have an it factor like this one definitely did. This is kind of an iridescent cropped blazer. I actually listed this, I think, a lot higher. I think I listed this at like 85 or something like that. I ended up accepting an offer of $59 just to get it moved, because I have been sitting on it for several months, and I made a decent profit off of it. This is a brand that has a pretty decent sell-through rate. It's a women's brand called Title IX. They make kind of like golf wear, athletic, tennis kind of pieces, and even their plain stuff like this top can still perform well. This one had UPF protection, so that definitely helped to increase the value. And this one sold for $30. If you guys can find dresses in this brand Title IX, I've been able to get anywhere from the $35 to $50 for them pre-owned. This was a fun sale. This is a Patagonia kids baby vest, and I always love sharing the higher end kids sales, only because it is a section a lot of people pass on. And I'm not saying you have to go hanger by hanger through the kids section, because I do think that would be a waste of time. But if you happen to take a glance, you see anything substantial and it's in a brand that you would normally pick up in the adult sections. I do think it's worth looking into. Patagonia is definitely a great brand to look for in the kids section. So this was a baby Retro X fleece vest. It sold for $40 pre-owned, and this thing was tiny. Here's another wool base layer. This is merino wool. This t-shirt sold for $34. This is a category that I think you guys should look for, which is higher quality feeling tie-dye pieces. And I don't know how else to say it other than that, because there are a ton of tie-dye pieces out there. But there are certain like ones that have almost an elevated look to them. And I've been taking risks on pieces like this, and they've been performing extremely well. So even if it's not a brand, even if it's not new with tags, just look at it, because I've been selling a lot, especially in like sweatshirts, for some higher dollar pieces. This one is a Torrid Sleep. For that reason, we listed it a little bit lower, but it was new with tags. Gorgeous tie-dye sweatshirt. I think I listed this for around $40. We accepted an offer of $30. Like I said, I don't know how else to say it, but I've just been selling a lot of stuff like this recently. Here is another Sunday Best Aritzia pleated skirt. This one sold on an offer for $28. Still selling the J. Crew blazers. Sell-through rate definitely does not show up when you do comps, but I'm still performing very well with them, so I'm personally still picking them up. This was called the J. Crew hacking blazer, which apparently we forgot to put in our title. Size extra, extra small, and it is wool. And it's still sold in warmer weather for $42. So keep your eye out for J. Crew women's blazers. This is a brand you definitely want to look for. It is called Saison, and they perform extremely well. I really love their pieces, just the overall aesthetic of them. This is a chambray button-up top. I accepted an offer of $42 for this piece. This is a shoewear brand that you might want to keep your eye out for. It's called Fly London. They have a very specific look for them, typically wedges, and honestly, usually there's a little bit of like a jagged look to the bottom of these shoes that helps you to indicate them. These ones did not have them. However, they usually say Fly London on the bottom. These were pre-owned. They did come with the original box, and I ended up selling them for $40. Next up, we talked about this in the beginning of the video, the barrel style or balloon style type of pants. These are a pair of jeans. Here's that shape again. These are by Pilcrow and letterpress by Anthropologie. Pair of these jeans. They were called the Breaker Barrel jeans, and they sold on an offer for $40. So again, extremely popular right now. This is not vintage Y2K. However, it is Y2K style. It's that chunky platform look. Very trendy right now. These are a pair of Free People little sandals. They were called the Havana thong platform sandal. Again, very trendy right now, even in modern styles, this platform look. These sold for $45. This is a brand that seems to never go out of style. It is Gudrun Sojin. I've never found a sweater by them, so I thought it would be interesting to show you guys the sale. And this one ended up selling for $59. This is a very niche, like artsy brand. And most of the time you can't read the tag. So if you can just remember Gudrun, if you start typing that into eBay, the rest of the title will pull up for you. So, but you definitely want to keep your eye out for this brand. Really great customer base with these pieces. This is a pair of bird dogs. They make both men's and women's now. This is a pair of men's chino pants. If you guys see this, sometimes people don't realize the brand because you can only tell based on the website down below, but Bird Dogs is definitely a brand to keep your eye out for. They make kind of like athletic, sometimes casual pieces, and they perform very, very well. High sell-through rate, high ASP. These men's chino pants ended up selling for $60. This is a brand that is known for their bamboo pieces, and I would say very similarly to the like wool pieces we've been talking about during this video. Bamboo brands that are known for bamboo pieces also, generally speaking, are bolos. This is definitely one of them. You can see it's made from bamboo. Here is their branding, and these waves are their little logo. Very high sell-through rate and free fly. This is a women's bamboo extra large hoodie. I think I listed it for $35 and it sold for $29. This is a Stella McCartney in collaboration with Taylor Swift cat hoodie. Anything Taylor Swift right now is like selling crazy. Like, you guys know, I don't need to go over it, but I just find it interesting. Sometimes these Taylor Swift pieces like are just not things that you would think would be her brand, right? So like if someone sold this cat hoodie and they didn't pay attention to the lettering down below, you might think it's just like a cheapy graphic hoodie, right? So you just want to be aware of some of these pieces and the styles that are put out that are valuable. This hoodie sold for $106. $106. Crazy. This is a pretty niche brand. It is G by Goop, and I can't remember the actress's name. You guys will probably know down in the comments, but I believe this was a brand made by an actress. I can see her face, but her name is failing me. But anyways, her pieces, I tend to sit on them for a long time, but they usually do end up selling. Sometimes they sell for a lot. Sometimes I end up dropping the price, but generally speaking, they do sell for a decent amount. This is an Argyle sweater, and it sold for $61. This is a men's swimwear brand you definitely want to keep your eye out for. It is Vilebrequin. This brand puts out a lot of really interesting prints, and depending on the print you have can increase the value significantly. These ones were more bread and butter. They were a starfish swim trunk, and they ended up selling on an offer for $49. On the opposite side, the brand Chubbies used to be like a bolo brand. I still think it's a great bread and butter brand for swim trunks, but they just don't sell for as much as they used to. I still like picking them up if I can get them for a decent price. These ones ended up selling only for $22. That's because the print on these are, I would say, pretty oversaturated. There's a lot of them, but some of their prints are more highly sought after and can go for more. And last one is a Brooks Brothers linen men's blazer. Still loving selling men's blazers, although now we have switched to trying to pick up, not wool pieces. We're looking for the cottons. We're looking for the linen blends. That is what is trending right now. And typically speaking, the lighter colored or brighter colored items are more trendy now. So this is a lighter tan men's Brooks Brothers linen blazer, and it ended up selling for $55. All right, guys, so that's it for what sold last week. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. If you're not already and you would like to be, don't forget to subscribe down below, hit that notification bell, and then make sure you hit all if you want to be notified every single time a new video goes live. If you guys are noticing that certain categories or new brands are selling really well for you and you want to help out other resellers, don't forget to put those in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.